Well, D'Anthony, it's good to see you again.
Sure it is.
Just so y'all know, I just found out this cool fact. I got a few things I want to talk about before we get started.
Oh, boy.
First thing is, Dan is born February 6th, the day of our Lord. He also shares a birthday with Babe Ruth, Bob Marley, Ronald Reagan, and President or Vice President Aaron Burr.
Yeah,
How cool is
Aaron Burr
that?
was a loser.
Yeah.
But he did kill Alexander Hamilton. So,
Yeah.
At least he got a stateside, I guess.
So here, I want to ask you a question. You know, I've seen this, and I want to see what your perspective is on this. I didn't get to read into the story that much, but I really, I'm trying to pull it up here. Did you hear that truck driver? Remember whenever, like a few years ago, I think it's 2017 or 2018, that he crashed and caused that big explosion out in California, killed like 4 people. It was like on the interstate. So
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
So check it out. So Colorado trucker who barreled down interstate at 85 miles an hour and killed 4 in 24 car pileup is sentenced to 110 years in prison.
Wow. What was in the truck that it made it blow up like that?
I think he was carrying fuel. I'm not 100% sure. But my thing is, I don't know if he was carrying fuel, but there must have been some type of fuel there.
So what's it saying? Like he was driving, let's just say he was driving a fuel truck. What's the charge? Or what was the charge? Just for being negligent?
So he... that's what I'm trying to figure out. So he was 26, was driving a semi-truck down I-70 in Lakewood, Colorado. Sorry, not California, Colorado. When he crashed into 24 vehicles, including 4 other semi-trucks stuck in rush hour traffic.
Mm-hmm.
The impact of the crash caused a giant fireball explosion and incinerated cars and trucks, killed 4 people. More than 2 years later, on Monday, the guy was sentenced to 110 consecutive years in prison for, dude, and this is what's and I don't understand. I've been trying to do research on it this morning, but I don't understand it. So he was driving an 18-wheeler loaded with lumber. So he says that that he lost his brakes.
Okay.
And I guess what the prosecutors said, so he claimed that the brakes of his truck failed and he lost control. So the prosecutors argued in court that he could have taken steps to prevent the crash, including using runaway truck ramp miles before the crash, and said he had made a bunch of bad decisions instead. So they got him for 4 counts of vehicular homicide.
Wow.
2 counts of vehicular assault.
Doesn't that how does that work with vehicular homicide? Is it the same as a standard homicide where there's first degree intentional homicide and then second degree and then
No, I don't think it works that way. I think it's all just vehicular homicide. Like
so
if you kill someone with a vehicle, it's just vehicular homicide.
Right, but I mean, there's no room for it being manslaughter or an accident. Vehicular manslaughter's got to be a thing.
Well, I think
and you wouldn't get 101 years for even 4 counts of manslaughter.
And that's so here's what they got him on.
It's really weird.
4 counts of vehicular homicide, 2 counts of vehicular assault, 6 counts of assault in the first degree with extreme indifference, 10 counts of criminal attempt to commit assault in the first degree, 1 count of reckless driving, 4 counts of careless driving causing death. Dude, so look, how the fuck does this guy get 110 years? But we got all these other motherfuckers out here that get nothing.
Yeah, this was in California. I guess that's
No,
the point
Colorado.
Or Colorado, I see. If it were in California, that would be interesting because they don't prosecute criminals anymore. What's the dude's name?
Rogel.
Rogel.
Okay, whatever. Aguilera. Menderos.
Here we go.
Isn't that crazy?
Caused a 28-car pileup. And the judge said if I had the discretion, it would not be my sentence.
What does that mean?
It means it wasn't up to him, and he thinks it's overkill, I guess. Let's see. He was taken away from me in an instant, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I would have to... I haven't seen the case or any of the facts of the case.
But it's crazy. But I'll tell you this. Usually they put what he did, and I don't see shit in here.
Like, it's some of the people that testified during the sentencing. I do believe the driver needs to take responsibility for their actions. I know they did not intend for this to happen, but because of your actions, it did happen.
A fucking 110 years?
Yeah, that seems a bit much, doesn't it? I mean, people are dead, sure, but is there a precedent for this kind of sentence for a guy who lost control of his vehicle and made a mistake? If that is indeed the case, who the fuck knows? But it isn't like we're talking about Charlottesville or Waukesha here. This isn't a dude that found a group of people he didn't like and drove into them, right?
It's crazy, isn't it?
That is pretty weird. There's another crazy story going on for your people, the Navy. This Ryan Mays guy. Have you seen this story?
Which one?
He's the guy that burned.
Yeah.
The Bonham Richard, $1.5 billion warship in San Diego down there.
You know, I don't. There's no way he acted alone.
I don't know the facts of that case either. We're gonna have to do.
Dude.
The trial is. He's just now been charged. I think the trial is gonna start soon. So we'll see we'll see where it goes. But he's being charged with aggravated arson and a number of other things.
So here's the thing, right? Like on a Navy ship, one thing that everybody is trained on is
Fire
firefighting.
suppression. Yeah.
So like
where everything is, where the like how to use firewalls, like to keep a fire in a certain location.
And the fact that you can get that thing, like that one person got a fire going so hot that it could burn that entire metal ship up.
Mm.
There's no way he was by himself.
Yeah, or it exposes like an extreme incompetence on behalf of that crew and the Navy in general for not preparing their people to do the right thing.
And
it's one of those things, right? I mean,
if he could do it on his own, the vulnerability of our Navy ships is fucked.
Yeah, it's an 844-foot ship. The temperatures on board peaked at more than 1,200 degrees at times. So fire crews were not able to put it out in some places. But I don't know. Maybe it was near some kind of accelerant source of some sort or some kind of material that burns hotter and is more difficult to put out. You know how it is on a complex ship like that. There's some things you can put out with water, but there's some things that can only be put out with chemicals, right?
Oh yeah. So, like, I mean, you can't put fuel out with water.
No, it's just gonna
spread it
everywhere. You got to use dry chemical most of the time, and half of these assholes may not even know how to use it.
Or foam.
But that would be, that would be a big problem. That'd be a big problem if there's that many. How many people are on a ship like that, and none of them were aware enough to see it? Maybe the fire suppression system, like these ships have automatic fire suppression as well, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like they're gonna hammer this kid, and I mean, fuck him. I don't care if he did it. It seems like he did it on purpose, from all the shit I've heard.
I'm sure he did.
So fuck him for putting other sailors at risk and damaging our shit that we need. But I think the focus of this particular investigation needs to be, how the fuck did this happen in the first place? Like, how did it go from him setting the original fire, whatever that happened to be, to just chaos and nobody knowing what to do?
How can one person do this?
Yeah, that's super fucked up.
Then the other thing I want to bring up is is this Duggar should burn in hell. Like, why do they let that man live?
You're talking about the son of the weird Mormon dude.
Yeah.
Like what's the name of that show where he's got 4 wives?
I don't know.
Josh Duggar's his son. Yeah. I don't remember what the dad's name is, but he's the one that everybody knows.
The oldest.
From the fucking the oldest, but I mean the dad is the one polygamist that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Except for me apparently because I don't remember his fucking name.
Dude, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? So yeah. Anyways, I just thought all this shit is just insane.
You know what else is insane? Is all the discovery from I'm as much as it is kind of a witch hunt, it is interesting to see. Like I've grown to dislike some people and grown to respect some certain people more based on all the discovery of the January 6th investigation.
Yeah.
Like I never really cared one way or the other about Trump Jr. I mean, he seems like a good guy. A lot of my buddies know him. Seems like a normal guy. They've hung out with him a bunch. And anytime we're doing anything, he always offers to help. So I guess in that way, he's probably a good guy. I'm not a huge fan of his dad.
Yeah.
Just because I think he was smart. He was a midwit. He was smart enough to have the answers to a lot of these issues and had the balls to actually execute on those plans. And we saw the fucking results of that shit. But he was so wrapped up in his own ego, he couldn't get anything done.
Yeah. And
it showed towards the end of his presidency. And apparently, Don Jr. sent a text message to Mark Meadows, who's getting lit up right now, saying, here's a quote, he's got to condemn this shit ASAP. Him meaning the president, his dad. He sent a text to the White House chief of staff saying that his dad needed to condemn that shit now. And I think that's... I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I agree. That's what we were covering it live. And Trump came out. He finally put out a press release like, hey, we know they fucking stole the election, but everybody needs to go home. Like, no, just shut the fuck up. Say, hey, get the fuck out of here. We don't do business like this. Yeah. You spent the entire summer and most of the fall condemning all these assholes that were running loose all over the place, destroying property and fucking rioting and shit. And now what? You're going to do the same? You think you're just entitled to do the same because they did it? That's how a child behaves.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Trump endorsed all of that shit, although, there's part of his ego that probably liked it. Like, people are out there fighting for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a chick that's got men fighting over.
Yeah, it's stupid. But I am glad to see that, that Trump Jr., I mean, he's not going to butt heads with his dad in public. Who would?
No, why would you?
Know what I mean? I mean, why would you, whatever, but who's going to call their own father out in public? But I am glad this leaked because that makes me have a whole lot more respect for him.
For sure.
Because that's what I would have done too. Like, if I had been in that situation, even if I believed the election wasn't above board, the solution isn't what the fuck happened on January 6th, right? In no way, shape, or form. Anyways.
So, none of that, as Dan always says.
Sean Hannity also asked Meadows in a text message, can he just make a statement and ask people to leave the Capitol? Like, everybody was fucking Laura Ingraham. The president needs to tell people to go home. He's destroying his legacy, etc. It's really irritating.
So, none of that is what we came here to talk about.
No, today we're going to talk about kind of what Trump was hinting at for years, which is that the leftist media is a fucking shit cesspool.
Well, so, when you asked me what topic for us to talk about, and I brought this up, we get on here a lot, and I don't know, sometimes I feel like we kind of just talk about negative shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one thing, like, when we started this podcast, that we both said, like, dude, we can't become one of those podcasts.
Mm.
We can't fucking do it. There's plenty of them out there that just play off emotions. And, so just, I know the topic today is the decline of the leftist media. But honestly, I want to, and obviously these are small examples, but I want to use these, and I'm going to put them in as showing that the system that we have in this country, and this is why our country will prevail, is that the system still works if it's used correctly, right? And as you see,
well, we saw it in the criminal justice system just in the past month, right?
And I'm going to use it on all that, right? Like I want
Kyle Rittenhouse goes free,
yeah.
and the dudes who murdered Ahmaud Arbery are all in prison forever.
All in prison.
Good.
Smollett, fucking prosecuted.
Yep.
Right? Like, our system still fucking works if it's used correctly, and you get. I mean, dude, look at CNN. You talk about these motherfuckers, like, you know what I love about it is here's what's great, is if all this would have happened under Trump, it wouldn't have been as devastating. But when you look at the empire that has fell under the Democrats, the people who tried to protect the Democrats and promote the Democrats so much, are now all of them who were the forerunners in trying to go after Trump and the Republicans, and who are trying to get, to get all of, to get who worked so hard to get Biden in there, right?
Yep.
All of them are fucking falling. And it shows you that I don't give a fuck who is in power. Nobody is above the fucking law, and nobody is above the system. Like, the system,
right,
if it's held to the standard.
Being done right in the media means that pertinent information without any unnecessary bias is delivered to the people. Yep. So you don't have to take down Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo or any of these guys, or any of the ones on the right that have gone away, like Bill O'Reilly with his sexual harassment horse shit. You don't have to take them down. You just present the evidence of their shit behavior to the public, and the public will take them down. Right? And I'm not talking about like mob justice or anything like that. I'm talking about Jeff Zucker, the CEO of CNN, would not have fired Cuomo unless people were like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Well, no, like,
stop. Not even just like calling for his resignation, but they stopped watching his show. The most powerful thing you can do as a human being is to stop patronizing a business. You don't have to say a fucking word.
Imagine what we did if we stopped supporting Facebook.
Yeah, right. That's true. And you don't have to say a word. You don't have to fucking share a meme or go to a protest or anything. All you have to do is sit quietly in your home and choose another option. Yeah. That is the most powerful thing you can do as a human being in America.
So CNN fires Cuomo.
Joe Kent just texted me.
On Saturday, December 4th, CNN fired Chris Cuomo following accusations of attempting to sway public opinion in the ongoing sexual harassment investigation of his brother and sexual harassment accusations against Chris Cuomo himself.
Yep.
I mean, and here's the part that's fucked up, is I appreciate somebody who came out and brought this to light. You know damn well that there were plenty of people who knew this happens behind the scenes all the time. And the media won't call each other out. His politically beneficial relationship with his brother Andrew became apparent almost immediately after Chris joined the network in 2013. Shortly after being hired, CNN was criticized after Chris twice interviewed his brother on New Day. At the onset of the pandemic, Andrew Cuomo became a leading national figure in the government response, and Chris began regularly interviewing his brother in prime time.
Yeah, we all remember this.
Yeah,
It was
his face was everywhere.
It got so big that Cuomo got a huge book deal. I think he got a $6 million advance, and then instead of using the money from the advance to pay people to do the research and help with the book, he just used his government staff to do that. He used taxpayer dollars basically to do it. And, there was a lot of talk in October, late September, early October, when, especially on the left, because they knew that Biden's brain was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't mean any offense to people who have relatives that are old or have dementia or anything like that. But, when you're making important business decisions, you probably aren't going to consult them.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's not to demean them as human beings, but let's be fucking realistic here. So he used his position in the media first to promote everything he thought his brother was doing well to help him. And look, that might be a natural inclination for somebody to help their family. I know when people came after, like Alex Jones specifically came after Black Rifle for shit, which, you know, he and I have kissed and made up over that one. But when he came after them, I don't really care if people talk shit about me, but when you come after my friends and family, I just see red, and that's not a good thing. We all make mistakes when we're fucking pissed off, right? So I said some stupid shit. He said some stupid shit, but, you know, I understand that inclination, but there is something, if you're a journalist, there's journalistic integrity is a big part of that whole gig. We are not journalists here. We fucking break a lot of news, yeah, because we have people inside of certain organizations, but that's not what we do. We're a fucking opinion show, more or less, right? I mean, that's essentially what it is. And maybe if CNN wants to be that, then that's fine. But don't pretend.
Call it news.
Yeah, don't call it news. So Deborah Katz, the attorney representing the alleged victim of and just to reestablish, since I went on a tirade there, Chris tried to paint Andrew in the best possible light, which I think is probably understandable. But the news, the information that they were intentionally suppressing about the nursing homes and stuff, now that we know how deeply involved Chris Cuomo was in helping to cover up and investigate the people who were to try to dig up dirt on the victims and all this stuff, are we meant to believe that he wasn't doing the same thing to try to shut down that nursing home story?
100%.
Right? So, anyways, Deborah Katz, who represented the alleged victim of Andrew, announced that she's also representing an anonymous woman described as, quote, a former junior colleague at another network. CNN has suspended Cuomo on Tuesday, November 30th, after the New York attorney General Letitia James, who's just trying to get a job, she's trying to run for governor, that's it, released documents that showed the anchor had been heavily involved in helping his brother defend himself from sexual assault allegations. Now, if Chris had recused himself and taken a leave of absence from CNN and done that, good for him, because he's an attorney. He knows how all that works. I would not have had a problem with that. The documents released on the 29th of November revealed that the anchor offered advice on his older brother's public statements and made efforts to uncover the status of pending articles at other news outlets, including the New Yorker and Politico, concerning harassment allegations against his brother. Now, initially, CNN President Jeff Zucker defended Chris, attempting to ignore Cuomo's involvement in his brother's scandal, saying punitive actions against him would be, quote, punishment just for the sake of punishing. Now, that tells you a lot about how the guy who runs CNN thinks about news, right? Like, it's okay to do unethical shit, essentially.
It's just part of the business.
Yeah. Although CNN management stood by Cuomo after the initial scandal, many employees within the network expressed anger at the way he had seemingly been given a pass to break basic journalistic ethics. Shortly after suspension, Cuomo addressed the situation on his SiriusXM radio show, claiming the decision to suspend him was embarrassing, and that while he refrained from reporting on his brother's sexual harassment scandals, he did not assist in a cover-up. Following the termination, CNN released a statement explaining the termination, which read, quote, Chris Cuomo was suspended earlier this week, pending further evaluation of new information that came to light about his involvement with his brother's defense. We retained a respected law firm to conduct the interview and have terminated him. While in the process of that review, additional information has come to light. Despite the termination, we will investigate as appropriate. Now, Zucker ultimately decided to suspend and then fire him to save the media outlet from further embarrassment. And he released a memo which read, in part, it goes without saying that these decisions are not easy, and there are a lot of complex factors involved. Now, it should be really easy that one of your two primetime guys is breaking pretty much every rule in the journalism book to say, get the fuck out.
Yeah, and like what this is telling me on all this is hey, let's see how far we can push it and let's see if the world forgets. We're going to try to do our justice without really making a decision. And if everybody keeps pushing this issue and it's going to hurt our ratings, we'll get rid of him. This has nothing to do with we found him doing something wrong. We're going to hold him accountable. CNN didn't do the right thing. I mean, they eventually were forced to, but it wasn't because CNN has good morals or they have good policies or whatever, right? It's literally because they were going to lose ratings and they knew they had to fucking get rid of him.
Well, yeah, their ratings were already tanking with him. That's why. I mean, if his ratings were good, I don't think they ever would have done this, to be honest. Again, according to Attorney Deborah Katz, the decision to fire Cuomo was a direct result of her client's accusations against him. Stephen Goldberg, spokesperson for Cuomo, has denied the new allegations in a statement which reads, quote, "These apparently anonymous allegations are not true. If the goal in making these false and unvetted accusations was to see Mr. Cuomo punished by CNN, that may explain his unwarranted termination." That's a bold statement to make. I think they used... And I don't mean to diminish the alleged victim's experience at all, but I think from CNN's perspective, they just used this as a way to get rid of him, so they could take the focus off of them and make themselves look like they're doing the right thing.
100%. Right? But again, if everybody gave up on not making this an issue or like they cared, look, there's no more morals. The word integrity. The word standards, the honor, all those things. These individuals who are up here on like CNN, Cuomos, Clintons, I mean, like.
Well, let's go farther. The Bushes, all of these people, like these political dynasties.
Nothing, like they, and that what's crazy, man, is if you look at it, they care about their ratings. They care about, like, it's almost a larger scale of the only thing that drives them is their status, their social status, right? Like, it's almost like, like you get those people who only give who look at how many likes they have on every fucking picture or how many follows. These people, like, they don't base their lives off of real shit. They're always out there chasing the ratings. Like, it's not like, here, I'm going to have ratings on who I am. Mm-hmm. It's, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the ratings up.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the size of it. And there's always a problem. I'm not saying that news organizations shouldn't make money. I definitely think that it's important that those things are financed and can persist, the institution itself. But when you introduce profit motive into things, when the board of a hospital has to sit down and decide how to make decisions based on how much money they're making because they're accountable to shareholders, or when a university is cranking up their fucking tuitions, and that's going to become a problem in about 2 months. We're going to see a lot of foreclosures. We're going to see a lot of it's going to heavily impact inflation and the housing market and the rental market as well when at the end of January all these fucking bills come due for the student loans and stuff. But yeah, whenever you introduce profit motive into those things, then the goal stops being the goal. Like, the goal of education is not to make money. The goal of medicine is not to make money. The goal of the military is not to make money. But when you introduce profit motive into these things, that becomes the goal. And that is a big fucking problem. Yeah, and I'm not anti-fucking capitalist for saying that.
I mean, think about this, right? Like, when we started introducing private contracting, you don't think...
I think that private military contracting in America is the reason that the Iraq and Afghanistan wars were extended so long. I don't think there's any question about that.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
It's just mission creep. But this time, instead of advanced involvement in something like communism in Vietnam, the advanced involvement was money. Money, 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 money. And Dwight Eisenhower warned us about this shit. Although he was institutional in setting up the military-industrial complex, even he said, this is going to fucking come back to bite us at some point. Keep an eye on this. And everyone's like, oh, fuck you, Dwight. Nice highways, or whatever. I don't know what people fucking said, but whatever they said didn't work. Let's do some ads.
I'll tell you what does work.
Yeah, Ghostbed.
It works every time. And as a doctor, second opinions.
I was.
You're what?
I was in Georgia.
Ghostbed?
No, see, that's a problem. I'm actually gonna. So it's a charity called the Hunter Recruitment Project. I guess we can just. This will be like a quasi ad for them while we're doing the Ghostbed ad. But, basically, Black Rifle contributes to it. Flip Flop Guy, Yoked, a bunch of companies. Montana Knife Company. I don't remember who all is, but Baker Levitt runs it. You know Baker. They bring in people that have been away from hunting for a long time or who are looking to get into it for harvesting meat and shit. Teach them all the basics, right? Tell them how to behave responsibly, gun safety, trapping even, all this stuff. They've got a couple of cabins around this hunting facility, and the beds are fucking terrible. And I had to sleep in one for 4 days,
Dude,
and my back is still fucked up.
Yeah.
As soon as I got back, like when Brittany and I were on the plane to come back here, and we're like, I miss my dogs. I want to go home and get back to work and do stuff. Didn't miss you. But, you miss things at home when you're gone for a long period of time. The thing that I miss the most is a ghost bed, always, and the pillows especially. Like the ghost bed pillows are, I could sleep on your tummy, I guess. If you lay sideways at the top of my bed, I'll sleep on your tummy.
I'll be there tonight.
There we go.
What time are we going to bed?
Whatever.
But anyways,
Ghost bed.
Dude, ghost beds are so badass. They have that 40% off bundle sale right now going on. They have 20-year warranty. 20-year warranty on a fucking bed. That's crazy.
And it just for context, it's one thing to have a 20-year warranty and only have been in business for like 3 years, but they've been advertising on this show for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So you're already what, fucking 30% into the life of your if you bought a ghost bed during the original ad run, you're still within the window of your fucking shit. And they're still advertising on this show because it's dope as fuck.
They also have pay-as-you-go financing. They have I love.
You got to check into it because it used to be 36 months, 0 APR, 0 down. Now it's if you qualify, it's out to 60 months.
Yeah.
So it's even
more
easier, right, to do that shit. They got the best pillows.
If it was 30 and now it's 60, like that's almost.
It's 36.
Yeah, if it was 36 and now it's 60, that's almost double.
Yeah, it's great. 101 nights, you can try that bitch,
dude. Yeah, and like the recoil on it, there's recoil on it like no other.
Yeah,
smooth. So go check them out. Ghostbed.com/drinking bros. Again, that's ghostbed.com/drinking bros.
Next up, if you're traveling. It's that time of year, right? A lot of viral activity, flu season, COVID season. It's going to be, it depends on how cold it gets where you are, but especially if it's in a colder area, you're going to experience more of that. And there aren't a whole lot of things you can do to just avoid it. If you watch Peter McCullough on Rogan this week, you'll find just how fucked up this whole situation is, but and he's going to be on American Party soon. But the one thing you can do is take care of yourself. Carter Max Immune Booster will help you do that. Uses all natural ingredients that increase the body's ability to adapt to stressors, increase muscle endurance, and provide other immune system benefits. Owned and operated by former Navy SEAL and fellow drinker bro Sean Matson, Carter Max Immune Booster comes in an easy-to-mix liquid packet in 2 great flavors, orange and watermelon. Tastes great. The ingredients are healthy. It's made by a veteran and a fellow drinker bro, as you know. Cartermax is offering American Party an exclusive offer, 30% off your next 4 orders. Go to cartermax.com. Use the promo code American. That is CARDOMAX.com. Use the promo code American. And you'll get 30% off your next 4 orders. That's cartermax.com, helping you achieve your max.
And also just, we haven't talked about this, but, look, really interesting, always having a doctor on the show. You're lucky, Dan, to have that co-host. Myself as a doctor of second opinions. But no one to date that has been confirmed has died, that slept on a ghost bed, or that took the immune booster, Carter Max immune booster. No one's died of COVID.
Right, and if you do both, you're basically invincible.
Yeah, invincible. Yeah,
Like
honestly, I don't think anything could get you.
Yeah, you could probably go out and try to tackle a moving vehicle, and you'd still be fine.
Yeah.
Although I don't recommend that, but I'm saying it's...
Yeah, no, it's not recommended, but we're just saying that, like, look, I will say this. I know for a fact that Superman sleeps on a ghost bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which one, though?
The original.
What was that dude's name? Wasn't he tied up in some weird murder shit? The Black Dahlia murders or some shit?
It was, Carl Clint, or what's his name?
What? Clark Kent is the guy's real name.
Clark Kent. Yeah, that's his name.
Who was the original Superman? What's that dude's name?
Clark Kent.
Let's see.
Also known as Superman.
I gotta look his name up. No, that's his street name. His No. That dude was in the fucking 80s and 90s. Superman existed way before that. 1978 was the first Christopher Reeve, but it was... Who was it before him? God damn it, I can't remember. Anyways, why the fuck are you talking about Superman?
Well, I was talking about who sleeps in a fucking ghost bed.
Oh, word. Well, he's probably does.
What?
He probably does. There was a guy that played Superman on TV back in the 50s or some shit, and he was involved in some weird murder scandal. They made a movie about it.
Dude, Superman is real.
No. But you know who is real is John Griffin, who is a Connecticut resident. Also happened to be one of Chris Cuomo's producers, was arrested and charged with 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to attempt to entice minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity. That's according to an announcement from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Vermont District, just 3 or 4 days ago, last Friday. So,
John.
Yeah, Griffin, a CNN producer, previously spoke about working closely with Fire News anchor Chris Cuomo on the show New Day. And included information about his close relationship with Cuomo on his LinkedIn page, saying he, quote, works shoulder to shoulder with lead anchor Chris Cuomo, seeing him through each show and producing live breaking news across the country and blah, blah, blah. They have since suspended Griffin pending further investigation. I don't know how much... The U.S. Attorney's Office doesn't charge people with fucking sex trafficking unless they're guilty of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot.
They're all about their stats.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit with the government that is fucked up, but the U.S. Attorney's Office, you're not going to find an AUSA or a U.S. attorney that is just going to willy-nilly charge people for exactly the reason you just said. Because the only way they get fucking... The only way they become a judge, then a federal judge, and then a fucking Supreme Court judge, which is, what they're looking for, is to have those stats.
So let's get a little bit more in detail on this. Like, not unlawful. So, obviously unlawful, but attempting to persuade minors to engage in sex is what he was arrested for. And this is, source is CNN. 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to attempt to entice minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity. The charges stem from a conversation between Griffin and the parents of a minor daughter, in which he allegedly tried to persuade them to, you ready? Allow him to train their daughters to be sexually submissive.
What?
Yep. And that's a quote. And, okay, you ready? As well as an incident in which prosecutors allege unlawful sexual activity occurred with a 9-year-old girl.
Okay, cool. So let's just kill this dude, right?
Yeah, so he also paid for and kept an online profile on BDSM dating, fetish, and kink site.
I don't have a problem with any of that.
No.
As long as he's fucking doing it with other consenting adults. But
so
yeah, go ahead.
Let me finish with this.
Mm-hmm.
Around February 2020, Griffin allegedly acquired a Vermont ski house in which he offered to host mothers. Holy fuck. Dude, this is a whole nother level. He offered to host mothers and their minor daughters for sexual training purposes, according to the indictment. Between April and June 2020, they allege he talked Griffin talked online with a 14-year-old girl, with a father of a 14-year-old girl, and separately the mother of a 16-year-old girl, proposing they begin sexual training.
And how did the parents react to this? Because this guy he's being charged, so clearly he's still alive. And that would not be the case if he had done that to one of my children, right?
Yeah, I don't think I even have to tell you what would happen on mine.
No, they would certainly never find this guy. I mean, it just goes to show you what kind of...
This actually happened. Dude, Griffin allegedly paid more than $3,000 to the woman to fly... So this woman needs to go to fucking prison. To fly her and the 9-year-old girl to Boston in July. This was July. The prosecutors say he picked them up from the airport and brought them to the ski house where the child was directed to engage in and did engage in illegal sexual activity. Bro.
Yep, just put them all into a fucking... into a volcano.
Bro.
Lower them slowly, feet first, into a volcano.
Bro, what? What the fuck? Who does this? Dude.
I don't know.
This guy should die.
Yeah, he should definitely die. So should the parents. And any remaining children they have should be immediately taken away from them if they're even engaged in this conversation. Like, the first thing you do when somebody begins that conversation with you is either physically assault them over and over and over again until they're dead, or at least call the police, which I assume some of them call the police, otherwise the guy wouldn't have gotten caught. But with all of that on the charge sheet, how is it that CNN is still employing this guy, even though he's, fucking suspended? I mean, there's something to be said for due process, but if I go to the USA's office, the U.S. Attorney's office, like, hey, do you mind? We have to make a decision about this dude's employment. Can you show me some of the evidence? And it's those conversations happening in text. That dude is fucking done. You have to immediately fire him. Now,
dude,
is there no... I would love to see a CNN contract. Is there no morality clause that includes things like this or journalistic integrity or something? You would think there has to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's not alone, or Cuomo is not alone in being a fucking deviant piece of shit that has no journalistic integrity. And here comes another one.
Oh, Mr. Lemon.
Yeah, Don.
Surprise, guys. Surprise.
Yeah, Jared Taylor's best friend. He's been hating on Don Lemon for fucking like 5 years now.
Dude, how do you not hate Don Lemon?
I don't know.
A former Hamptons bartender, Dustin Heiss, has alleged that Don Lemon assaulted him after the CNN host fondled himself at a local bar in 2018. Heiss claimed that he encountered Lemon at a bar in Sag Harbor where he offered to buy the CNN anchor a drink. According to Heiss, I said, "Hey, Don, let me buy you a drink." I turned to Nick, the bartender, and said, "Hey, Nick, let me get 2 lemon drops," and put 2 fingers in the air. Don looks at me and goes, "I'm just trying to have a good time, man." About 5 to 10 minutes later, Don gets up, walks around the bar, comes right up to me and puts his hands down his board shorts. He rubs himself aggressively, his penis and whatever else down there. Well, we know what else is down there, but I mean,
it's a bold move. Nothing illegal though, technically yet.
What do you mean nothing illegal?
Like there's no. Well, I guess technically fondling yourself in public could be seen as.
No, he didn't fondle himself.
Yeah, he rubbed himself aggressively, but that's not where it ends. From there, Heiss claims that Don Lemon shoved his index finger and middle fingers in his nose and under his mustache, meaning Don Lemon grabbed his own dick and balls and then put his hand underneath this dude's nose.
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, dude, you can't touch yourself like that in public.
I mean, you can adjust.
That's indeed.
But yeah, for sure. There's a line, I'm sure, right? The suit against Lemon states that the anchor began saying, "Do you like pussy or dick?" Heiss said he was so traumatized that he fled the bar and came back to later find that Don Lemon had left. When Heiss went back to work at his bartending job, He claims that people began to frequently order lemon drops by holding two fingers in the air, saying, "Give me two," in an effort to humiliate him. The lawsuit against Don Lemon alleges that Heiss suffered, quote, severe emotional stress and loss of future earnings and opportunities. A source close to Lemon said Heiss's camp contacted Lemon's lawyers and demanded $1.5 million in exchange for not filing the lawsuit. That's basically just extortion. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole case. Another source said that there were talks about a financial settlement and that Lemon's side offered a six-figure payout, but in the end, the potential deal never went through. Heiss has since claimed that Lemon's actions that night are part of a pattern of sexual assault, saying anybody that acts like that in public without any fear of what it might do to somebody or the consequences it might have them, that's a pattern. And that's true. That's kind of how, the quote continues, he's protected by the fact that he's an African-American gay man on television.
Facts.
And I'm just some nobody. There's probably some truth to that, but it's more.
Let's reverse it.
I just want to talk about the first half of that thought, which is that being that aggressive with that behavior means that it's not the first time he's done it. That is probably true. Now, you can't convict somebody on probably, but from CNN's perspective, when you already have a massive problem with people doing weird sexual shit against other people's wishes, that's a real big red flag, right?
Well, I mean,
big red flag.
Like, let's reverse this real quick and let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say that me or you did that to a female in a bar.
Right.
What do you think would happen? We'd have handcuffs on us.
Probably. I'm not sure if that's technically. I don't know what charge that would be, really.
For me to take and rub my hands on my balls right in front of you, and then put my fingers into a female's face. You don't think?
I mean, it's not a good thing to do. It's probably a crime. I just don't know exactly what it is.
I don't know the crime either. I don't know if it's like...
It's weird. It's not like you grabbed her or forced her to grab you.
I mean, technically, like if I sit here and pissed all over you,
that's
that
assault.
illegal?
That's a battery.
Well, then how is that not assault? What he did?
It's probably battery. Yeah, probably sexual battery because it involves a secondary sexual characteristic.
Yeah,
you would think. I'm sure you can make that claim, but it would be like second or third degree probably. But either way, it's still wrong. And again,
it's harassment no matter what.
It's certainly harassment. And it goes back, I go back to the point that the fact that he was so brazen in doing that openly in public means that he's done.
He didn't do it?
Well, here, his spokesperson said this plaintiff in this lawsuit has previously displayed a pattern of contempt for CNN on his social media accounts. This claim follows his unsuccessful threats and demands for an exorbitant amount of money from Don Lemon. Now,
but he didn't say Don Lemon didn't do this. There's no my client denies this ever happening.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they would say that, but that case to me, I would need a lot more facts. I want to see the guy on the stand, and I want to see Don Lemon on the stand talking about it. That would certainly convince me a lot more about what's going on, but I think there's a bigger problem with Don Lemon because he is. We've seen the Jussie Smollett case come to its fruition now. Now we're still waiting on the sentencing and everything.
There's no way he'll serve any time.
I doubt it. He's probably going to get probation, but the city of Chicago is seeking at a minimum $150,000 in restitution.
Really
well, he hasn't made that much money, right? Most of the money he made from he got fired pretty quickly, so he's not going to get long-term residuals or anything like that from that show. But anyways, a bigger issue is that Jussie Smollett, when he took the stand on Monday, he told the court that he first knew that police doubted his race hate attack was real after getting a text message from Don Lemon saying that saying that was key in his decision not to hand his phone records over to cops. So the prosecutor in his case, in Smollett's case, asked him why he decided not to turn over his phone records to police. And one of the reasons he cited as to not doing that is because Don Lemon had essentially interfered with the investigation. Don Lemon had used his sources as a journalist to find out what cops were talking about, and the cops were like, this dude's full of shit, and he let Smollett knew that the cops thought he was full of shit and that he needed to fucking get on his game and get his story straight. So he's trying to coach this dude who's faking a hate crime. So again, I try to take people at the best, whenever I can. I assume that Don Lemon truly believes that there's widespread homophobia and racism in America, institutionally and on a personal level, and he thought this was a good vehicle to get some exposure on that, even if the case isn't necessarily true. Yeah. Now, that's a really fucking stupid... It's the noble lie methodology, right? And it's a really stupid fucking way to go about things, and it's, in this case, I would say, maybe not criminal, but journalistically, it's fucking bad, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a so-called journalist, that's one of the worst things I've heard in a very long time because of the national implications. You know what I mean? So this one is that. So you're looking at CNN now, and nobody really takes MSNBC seriously. No, so I don't really pay much attention to that. No. And we'll get to them in a sec with Brian Williams and Rachel Maddow, but nobody really takes them seriously. But CNN, even to this day, kind of purports that it's an unbiased news organization, even though they're clearly not unbiased. I mean, that's nonsense. The fact that your 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. slot, which would be like Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity from Fox, both helping people unethically during a criminal investigation and having sexual assault claims against them. Can you imagine how quickly those two dudes would be launched into outer space? Oh. I mean, and I don't like the whataboutism because apples, oranges, sometimes things are different, whatever. But fuck, man. This is a big hit. And it's not just about using Me Too shit to take people down. It is about both of these guys, the two top dudes at CNN, have exposed themselves not just in slanting the news, but in actively working behind the scenes to either shut down dissent against their organization or their ideology or promote like just outright lies about things. Yeah. That's a big problem. And I think people are starting to finally wise up. What you'll see in situations like this is people will start to circle the wagons and protect, whatever side they're on. But at some point, they're like, oh, fuck, that dude's too big of a piece of shit to protect anymore. It'd be one thing if it was one dude, but it's not one dude. It is their two number one people. And
one thing I want to bring up here, we can end the show on this piece of it. But, dude, what this Brian Williams sign-off was pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, a lot of people have said it was like the first time he's told the truth in years.
Yeah. Like it was like when I watched that, the only thing that I felt in my heart when he was talking about, how fucked up the country was, was how I was like, dude, you've got a huge part in that.
Yeah. This dude that lied about
his war,
yeah. I mean, get the fuck out of here. This guy's been filling your head with bullshit. This is classic gaslighting. Mm-hmm. This is what it is. For you dudes that have dated crazy chicks or probably more commonly women who have dated dudes that gaslight the fuck out of people all the time.
Yeah, this is gaslighting.
This is exactly what it is. You cause or are part of causing a huge fucking problem to the detriment of millions of people. And then on your way out the door, you try to fucking absolve yourself while shaming and condemning the system and everybody else. I'm an institutionalist, is what he said. What the fuck does that mean? Yeah. You're a cunt, Brian Williams. And speaking of cunts, Rachel Maddow is, she actually said one of the funniest things I've heard in a very long time, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't remember when it was, but she was, she made, I don't remember which show she was on, but she was talking about the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, and said that she believed both of the names sound really gay. And she's a gay woman that's been married to a woman. I think she got married in like 2014 or so. She was, no surprise that she's gay. Her haircut is a pretty obvious sign of that. But that was, to be honest,
what does that say about Giorgio?
Well, he's a man. Here's exactly what she said. I will say that with both of those groups, particularly the Proud Boys, but also a little bit with the Oath Keepers, I always have found them to be inadvertently funny, those names, not only because they defy reality as you're describing them, but because they both sound really gay. Well, the Proud Boys was a joke. The name is a joke. It's always been a joke. Not that I'm not commenting one way or the other. I know some people that tool around with them a little bit, and they're normal dudes. They're just tired of some bullshit. And then there's a bunch of crazy people, just like every other fucking organization. There's a bunch of knuckleheads. The Oath Keepers, though, that is a bit much for me. But
have you seen?
I thought it was funny that she said that because technically she's right. She just missed the irony. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it is a little gay. It is a little silly, as well. And that was kind of the point when Gavin, whatever the fuck, started the organization in the first place. It's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek joke. Not like Antifa calling themselves anti-fascist and then doing fascist shit.
Well, and like,
I thought it was really funny.
Yeah,
but she's currently being paid, or not currently, but her new deal is instead of being on, being one of the lead primetime hosts leading into Lawrence O'Donnell. I think it's like Chris Hayes, her, and then Lawrence O'Donnell, the 8, 9, 10 slots. She's going to do a podcast, I think, once a week, and getting paid $45 million a year to not be on the MSNBC anymore. So the overarching theme of all this is that cable news is dying. It is, especially from the leftist perspective, it's dying. And Sagar Nyetti made a post about it this week, about Chris Wallace leaving Fox to go be on CNN Plus streaming service. And Sagar's like, yeah, nobody gives a fuck what you guys have to say anymore, so you got to come over here into our territory and try to do it again. And Sagar is correct about that. He didn't say this specifically, but those shows are going to fail miserably. In the same way that leftist shows have failed on AM radio and vice versa, or in other avenues as well, on YouTube and so forth, because people that have a choice, right, that can do independent fact-checking and stuff like that because your shit exists on streaming and you can look into it all the time, they are very good bullshit detectors. And if you come out 100% bullshit all the time, then they're going to fucking catch on immediately, call you out on it, and those posts are going to last forever. Like all these idiots, fucking the president of the United States, the vice president of the United States, various Congress people and senators and business leaders and all this other bullshit, talking about, Jussie Smollett, this is a racist attack, it just shows you whatever the fuck. No, it didn't. It was all a lie. And those tweets are all still up, by the way. I don't know why. I think maybe they don't want to delete them because then it'll show that they have to recognize, because somebody's going to ask them, hey, why'd you delete that? But if I had posted something like that and it was clearly wrong, not only would I delete it, but I would confirm that I deleted it. Like, hey, I was wrong. What's wrong with that?
But you wouldn't have.
Well, no, I mean, we all jump to some conclusions from time to time. I probably wouldn't have been that crazy about it.
Yeah.
And I've, like everybody else, I think, on the interwebs, I've shared and reposted things that weren't necessarily true.
For sure.
Sometimes just because I thought they were funny, but I don't want to mislead people. But there's nothing wrong with being wrong.
No.
Staying wrong and demanding people persist in the delusion that you were never wrong in the first place, that's what is truly evil, especially if you're in the fucking news. So if you're in the news and you do that, fuck you. And we'll see you in hell.
See you in hell.